Hey everybody, happy Halloween. Okay, almost Halloween. It's like Halloween Eve. I don't know. Anyway, I was gonna dress totally in character, but I decided to save that for Halloween. Just wear my little horns and my very fitting shirt here that says books. Because sometimes writing can be scarier than any costume I could have come up with. So I just thought this was a little more fitting because also deadlines can be the devil. So see, look, I have all the symbolism here. I know, right? Such a writer. So anyway, that reminds me in English class when the English teacher would go on and on and on about why the curtains were blue, and now I know as an author the curtains are blue because they're blue. It didn't symbolize depression or darkness or frame of mind or anything like that. But anyway, again, not seeing any comments yet. I know you guys probably haven't piped in, but if I'm not responding, it's because I can't see them. It's getting to be a little bit frustrating. Me and Mark Zuckerberg are going to have a little chit chat because this is not what I wanted. I wanted to be able to interact with people. And if I can't see your comments, then I might as well just do these things on YouTube and then just upload them and you guys can watch them whenever. I do that anyway. I upload it to YouTube on Tuesdays, but the whole point of doing a live is so I could interact. And it's kind of frustrating not to be able to see what you guys are saying in real time. So anywho, it is what it is. I am happy to say that this Monday, for those of y'all following the school drama, there was none. Yay! So my firmly written email did what it needed to do. And I think everybody knows that I was really upset by what had happened, and I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better about the response the school gave me last week. We had another sit down, we had another meeting, and they were like, how do we make you feel better about this situation? And in all honesty, there's really nothing they can do to make me feel better about having somebody threaten my daughter, another little boy, So anyway, it just feels like everything is finally coming down from that. Everything is finally getting back to normal from that. And so I was pleased as punch. In fact, I saw like Wilson, the school call today, and I was like, oh no, not again. And it was just a reminder that retakes are on Friday. So I was like, yes, thank goodness. We don't need retakes. She took a beautiful picture. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Those of y'all who don't know who this rambling person is, if you're a newbie, my name is Jennifer McMurrain, and this is Indie Strong, and this is episode 8. And I got to tell you, even though I have been doing this for 2 months, I still get super nervous before I do these things because I just know I'm just going to ramble on and on and on. But I think one of the reasons I get nervous is because I really want to help and I really want it to be useful. And if it's not useful to you, then it's wasting all of our time, and time is valuable, especially when you're a parent and you're working, and writing might be your full-time job, but you might also have another full-time job. And so for me to take 30 minutes out of your day is a lot. So I want it to be useful, and I hope it's useful. And I think that's why I get just a little bit nervous. So if you get nervous, that's cool. I'm just telling you that we all get nervous, and that's fine. And we're going to talk about something that makes people very nervous, and that is NaNoWriMo, which includes deadlines. Yes, I know that one little word strikes the fear in the hearts of many, many writers. It's the devil. Deadlines are the devil. But they're a very, very real thing in the writing world, whether you're traditionally published or whether you're independently published. You still have to make deadlines. You still have to meet those goals so you can continue to put out books, whether or not you are following somebody else's deadline or the deadline you make for yourself. So like I said last time, NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, which begins on Friday, November 1st, the goal is to write 50,000 words by December 1st. So I think you get till midnight. So that goal and that deadline is what strikes fear into a lot of writers, because a lot of us sit down and we're not writing 1,667 words a day. Life happens. It's November. It's one of the busiest months of the year. I don't know why somebody was like, hey, let's do it in November. They must have been like anti-Thanksgiving. I don't know, but but yeah, it's impossible. And to be completely honest with you, I have never written 50,000 words in November. I have done it other months. I have done it consecutive months, but I have never done it in November. And there's a few reasons why. And I think most authors can relate to this. A lot of times I have either just put a book out or I'm about to put a book out. And when you're about to put a book out, then there is a ton of work that has to be done. There is a ton of PR, marketing, branding, and all that stuff that has to be done when you put a book out. And that takes away from your word count. It's real work. It really has to be done, but it does take away from your word count. And most of us are trying to get a book, pardon me, most of us are trying to get a book out right before Christmas, at least before Black Friday. I try not to publish in December because a lot of people don't heed my advice when I say, don't publish your NaNoWriMo rough drafts because they are rough drafts that you have written in 30 days and they need to be edited. Okay, and if you don't take my word for it, again, let me tell you, Stephen King's own words, writing is rewriting. Don't put those rough drafts out there, please. You make us all look bad when you do that, okay? When I want you to put your best foot forward. So don't give indies a bad name by just throwing it out there because you think it'll be quick money. It won't be quick money, okay? Okie dokie. So we are going to talk about NaNoWriMo. But the tips that I'm going to give you today will increase your word count overall. So if you're not doing NaNoWriMo, that's fine because these tips should help you with your everyday writing. And like I said last week, the whole purpose of doing NaNoWriMo is to get you in the habit of writing. You can get the fancy badge, that's fun, but the purpose of it is to write every day, to get into the habit of writing. And they want you to write 50,000 words because they want you to strive to get 1,667 words a day. But in reality, that's not always possible. And so we're going to go through some tips that will help you get to that goal. But you can also make a goal for yourself. And like I said last week, if you don't make 50,000 words in a month, nobody's going to blast that all over the internet. Nobody's going to be like, oh, you're a failure, ha. No, they don't post who didn't do it. In fact, you should very much, I'm sorry, my phone just went off and I need to turn that down because it's so distracting. And that's one of the things we're totally going to talk about is turning the phones down or off. Okay, so that done. Sorry, so unprofessional of me. Okay, so the first question, I only have 2 questions, but I feel like they're going to take up the entire half hour, if not a little bit more. So question 1 is from Becky in Wyoming. Thank you, Becky. I hear you guys got snow. Okay. I want snow. I'd rather have snow than this wet rain that we have because it's just cold and wet. And just can't build a snowman with that. So anyway, Becky says, or asks, I guess. She says, I have never even come close to completing NaNoWriMo. Is it possible? And if so, how? Okay, absolutely possible. Again, I hate that it's in November, but it is what it is. But it is absolutely possible. And again, I've never done it in November, but I've done it in consecutive months. And usually they're in the summer. I seem to get into a better writing routine in the summer, even with the kids here. I know it's weird, but I guess because my 8-year-old can kind of help with the baby, that I kind of have a live-in babysitter, kind of. I don't leave them alone together. Don't call CPS on me. You know, I take care of my children. They're right there. Okay. So anywho, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do this, but you can definitely do it. And here are the tips. So this week, before Friday starts, here is what you need to do. You need to create either an outline, plot points, or a synopsis. You need to know what you're going to write about, okay? Now, there'll be people telling you, okay, you know, you got to find your theme and your purpose. Well, okay, that might be, but in my experience, that has come with writing. So don't struggle on that too much. Yes, you definitely need to find that stuff, but I don't know that it's the first thing that you need to do. And I guess I'm just mentioning that because I just saw something that said, the first thing you have to do is find your purpose, find your truth, your story's truth. And I really feel like that comes organically with writing, but you do have to know what you're going to write. And a lot of times when you write that synopsis or even those plot points down or that outline, then it will come to you. So create an outline, plot points, or synopsis. Have a roadmap. It is very important during NaNoWriMo to have that roadmap, not only to see what the plan is, but when you get interrupted, being able to go back to it quickly. Okay. Number 2, create all your character sketches, include ages, hair color, eye color, body type, habits they're going to do throughout. Me, I talk with my hands. So if I was writing a character about myself, then she would need to move with her hands a lot when she talks, because that's what I do. This is other information you're going to use throughout the book. Do they bite their lip or their inner cheek? I always see that, and I really don't understand how people bite their inner cheek. I don't I don't do that, I guess. So that's a hard characteristic for me to write. But write down all that stuff and have it handy, whether it's in a spreadsheet or in your writing notebook, which is way over there. I'm not going to grab it, or in your writing notebook, have it handy. One of the things I really like to do is have a little notebook for my focus project. And that way I have all the stuff like super close, and I can just open it up and be like, okay, what was that neighbor's name? Oh, okay, that was Jacob. That was Jacob that I'm looking for. So I have all my notes right here. It's really handy when I'm working. It's sitting right there by the desk. So, and it's only for that novel. So I'm not going to have to weed through a whole bunch of other notes to find what I'm looking for. So sometimes I put character sketches in here. Sometimes I make PowerPoint presentations with a picture of like what actor or actress I would have play that role. So I can see a visual representation of how they look, because for me, description is the hardest. That is definitely where I fall short. And so that is what works best for me. And I have a describer's dictionary, but that's something we'll talk about in another day, because the last thing you want to be doing during NaNoWriMo is flipping through a dictionary. That's not the point at this juncture. The point is just to write. If you can't think of the word, then you put asterisks so you can come back to it. Okay. So character sketches, have those done. Know what those characters are going to look like. Know what their habits are going to be. Know their bad traits, their good traits. Put it all down in a notebook or on a spreadsheet. I do both sometimes. Jot down any of the setting information that you'll need throughout the book. Especially if you're writing a series, make sure that you know kind of like if you're in a town, like what are the neighboring, you're working at one business, what are the neighboring businesses? What does Main Street look like? How far away does your characters live from that? That may be stuff that you never use, but you have to kind of know your setting, because your setting is another character. So do that setting sketch as well as the character sketch. Know how big of a town. Is it big enough to have a Walmart? If it does have a Walmart, is it like killing downtown Main Street? Just those little tidbits of information that will help your story flow. Okay? So character sketches, setting sketches, and some kind of outline, plot point, synopsis. Find a writing space. Okay, I know not everybody is as lucky as I am to have an office, and my office definitely becomes a catch-all, but it is a place that you need to do your writing. If you are doing your writing in front of the TV, you're probably going to be distracted. So you need to find a place that all you're going to do is write. I cannot write in my recliner. My recliner is where I relax. It's where I have family time. It's where I watch the news. It's where I watch my other shows. Lately, it's been where I watch really super scary movies. Why I decided to do that to myself? I don't know. I'd prefer to read them than to watch them, but I've been doing it and I've been having some fun, but goodness gracious, giving me the heebie-jeebies. Anyway, I can't write in my recliner. When I sit down in my recliner, I know I'm going to relax. I instantly kind of get tired. So I know I need to come to my desk to write. So I'm lucky enough I have a writing space. If you don't have a writing space, okay, if you have a writing space and it's a big mess, clean it up before the 1st, okay? Make sure there's no distractions, because the last thing you want to be doing on November the 1st is, oh, I got to put this up and that up and let me clear off my space. That needs to be done first before you begin writing for NaNoWriMo, or anytime, really. Every Sunday, I try to clean up. I know that's not obvious when you guys see me on Monday, but I do try to clean up my space and get ready for the week. Kind of depends on how the weekend is gone, but I do. And I'm really good at working in controlled chaos until that chaos becomes uncontrollable. And so for like the 1st, I'll make sure that everything is clean and where it needs to be, where I can find it, okay? If you're not lucky enough to have a space all to your own, that's fine. But you still need to find that corner. You still need to find that place that you can write, that that's all you do is write, whether it's the dining room table, whether it's the bar at the, not the bar, not the bar, probably won't get a lot of drinking done there, but like, I meant that like the breakfast bar, okay, Starbucks, I guess. I can't write in a public place. I get too distracted, but a lot of people do. Because, you know, when you're writing from home, my kitchen is right there. That's why that curtain is always closed, because I can see the dishes that need to be done and, you know, the counters that need to be wiped down. And I know that the laundry needs to be going in the next room. And so I really have to focus when I'm in here. So try to find a space, whether, like I said, if it's your table or whatever. And if you have to, invest in some of those ear canceling headphones. My husband has a pair and they are life-changing. When I have a writing day, every other Saturday, I get a writing day, and he does all things kiddos. And some days it's a little bit chaotic, and I put those on, and let me tell you, it is heaven in an earphone. It doesn't muffle them out completely. I know what's going on, but it definitely helps me concentrate. So you need to have a place to focus. Find that place, whether it's shared or not. Find that place and say, hey, look, this is where I'm going to write, and I expect you to respect it. Okay, it is your job. Whether it's your first job or your second job, it's still a job. Okay. So, book a writing time. I was like, book what? Couldn't read my own notes there. And then schedule a writing time. Schedule writing times. Now, again, this is all stuff you do before November 1st. Find a plan. When are you going to write? Are you going to get up early and write before everybody wakes up? Are you going to stay up later like I do and write after everybody goes to sleep? Are you going to say, hey, look, after we get done with dishes, mama's going to go write, you guys go play, okay? After homework, daddy's done. Daddy's working on his manuscript. You guys go do what you need to do, okay? You need to tell your family that you have a goal, that you plan to meet this goal, and you need their help. And their help is respecting the writing time. And as much as they respect it, you have to respect it. If you write that writing time down on your calendar, then your butt needs to be in the chair writing when you say you're going to write. And it could be, you could have had a long day. You could have been called up to the school because some kid was a jerk to your kid. Your nerves could just be on edge. But in order to complete books, you have to get your butt in the chair, even when you don't feel like it. And I'm telling you, and I've told you this before, sitting down is the hardest part. So schedule that time, keep it sacred, make sure your family keeps it sacred. Tell them you're serious. Don't feel embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Say, look, I really want to finish this book. This is a goal of mine. I need your help to do that. So during this time, I'm going to be writing, and I really appreciate it if you would respect this area and let me write. Okay, I don't know how many times I tell my family to respect the curtain. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I'm really adamant about it. When my daughter peeks her head in and it's a writing day, I'm like, I can't deal with it. You want a juice box, you go to your daddy. And that's what you have to do. Now, if somebody's bleeding, of course I'm going to go out there. If the baby's inconsolable, I can't just sit in here. Of course I'm going to go out there. But I'm just saying, do your best to stay focused. The laundry can wait. The dishes can wait. The vacuuming can wait. Everything else can wait during that scheduled time. And if it makes you feel better, schedule time with your family too, so you're not feeling like you're just neglecting them. It's okay to micromanage your time, especially during NaNoWriMo. Okay, so that's all the stuff you do before the first. Now here's what you do on the first. Like I just said, you keep that writing time sacred. Okay, you have got a goal in mind. You want to make it. You want to meet it. Then you have to sit in the chair and write. Butt in chair, hands on keyboard, type, type, type. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's crap because you're not going to publish it. You're going to edit it. So don't worry about that. Get your butt in the chair and write. All right. Shoot for a doable goal. And if it's easier for you, then do it in little snippets of time. Okay. If I sit here and say, write 1,667 words, and you usually write like 200 words a day, that's really going to freak you out. So don't think about it like that. Okay, think, okay, during this half hour, I'm going to write 250 words. It's doable, people. It's super doable as long as you stay focused. And that's the hardest part. And then, okay, so I did 250 words here in just 30 minutes. Well, I can do another 250, here. Maybe I do this before dinner. Maybe I do another 250 after dinner. Maybe I watch my favorite show and do another 250 and then do another 250, until you get the amount you want. Now, I would do more than 250 just because that's a lot of jolts. But I think once you get in the chair, you'll stay in the chair and you'll find out that you've written 1,000 words in an hour and you'll be like, holy mackerel, I did that. And that's because you made it a point to sit down in the chair and focus for that scheduled time. Again, if you don't have hour blocks, that's fine. Write 30 minutes here, 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 and just keep doing it, okay? If you keep doing it, even if you don't hit 50,000 words, think about how much farther you're going to be by the end of November. I almost said this month. It's not quite there yet. By the end of November, you're going to be so much further. Not only are you going to be further, you're going to have instilled habits that will help you in your writing career. Okay. Track your word count. Write them down. I do that in this little book that I have for every novel, every focus project. I track them. These word counts aren't very high because I've been working on editing. So always track them. And you'll see, like, okay, I wrote for 30 minutes. Okay, I got 200 words. Well, your next 30 minutes might be 350 words. You'll see how you go up as you practice writing, because anything you practice, you're automatically going to get better at. I mean, that's life. That's just science. Okay, so track your word count. Look and see where you're going. Turn off your inner editor. NaNoWriMo, or even when you're writing rough drafts, that is not the time to edit yourself. That is the time to get it done. Okay, so I have to go back and, I made a typo. Let me fix that real fast. But I don't go back and like, I need to content edit this, or I need to add that scene. Or if there's a scene that I really need to add and it's like way up here and I'm way down here, then I put a note. Don't forget to add this scene. Here is where Santana needs to meet Shane. That's what that one was. So, and that, I hadn't looked at that manuscript in forever, but yet I knew at that point I needed to do that because I wrote myself a little note. Okay, so you don't have to go back and find it. That's something you can do during the editing, during the content editing part, or when you get done with your rough draft, or, at a different time. I guess what I'm trying to say here is don't stop the focus on your current scene to go write another scene, because that's really going to trip you up and your pacing up, okay? But turn off that inner editor. Don't worry so much about those grammatical mistakes or looking to find that perfect word. Now is not the time for that. Now is the time to write. If you don't like the word, again, put a little asterisk by it so you can go and look in your flip dictionary or your emotional thesaurus. I love this book, by the way, later to do that. What these are called, so what this block of writing time is called is a writing sprint. And whether it's 30 minutes, I guess 20 minutes is probably the lowest I would do. 20 minutes to an hour, you just write. You don't look back. You drive like the devil is chasing you, and you write. You write like if you stop writing, he's going to get you, and then you're going to end up in a cave full of like man creatures. Yeah, I watched The Descent last week. It was scary. So anyway, you just write during these writing sprints. And that's what NaNoWriMo is all about, is writing sprints. Again, to get you in the habit of writing, and then you will edit. Again, please edit. But during NaNoWriMo, you turn off your internet editor. Don't do it. Okay? Turn off the internet. Yes, I know. Yeah, I'm horrible about it. The internet is so distracting. So distracting. It's so shiny and special, and there's so many interesting things there. And my friends are on the internet, and they're talking about all these wonderful things and going to all these wonderful parties and for Halloween. And turn off the internet. Okay, just turn it off. There are some apps. The only one that's coming to my mind at this exact moment is called Freedom. It will turn off the internet for you for a set amount of time. There's another one. I don't know if it's still up or not, but it's called Write for Your Life. And if you stop writing during that time, it starts to delete words. I don't really recommend that so much, but just turn off the internet. Now, a lot of people will recommend you turn off your phones as well, but I'm a mom. Most of you guys are parents. We can't turn off the phone during the day. What there could be something happen at our kid's school. Our spouse could need us. I have a really hard time with that. But you can set it to an emergency mode or a do not disturb mode where only those calls from like the school or from your mom can get through, so that way you can focus and you're not getting those calls, those spam calls that your extended warranty is out. Yeah, my car is from 1997. It's been out. It's okay. It's actually not. It's I don't remember what it is because I'm not a car person. But anyway, my first car was nice. Anywho, I love rabbit trails. Don't you guys love my rabbit trails? So turn off the internet, set your phones to vibrate. That way you can just kind of glance over, or better yet, silent. Mine doesn't really go to silent. It just does vibrate, but just turn it down as far as you can. If you see you're getting a call, glance over. If it's not important, keep writing, ignore it, use that self-control that you have. You didn't really want to talk on the phone anyway. Nobody does. We text nowadays. And those texts you can read later. They're not going anywhere. And then just write. Just write. I know, it sounds so simple, doesn't it? Hands on keyboard, butt in chair, just write. And love it. Enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy writing, if this is like one of the layers of hell for you, then don't do it. Find something else. Find a joy. Find a joy and a passion that doesn't make you cringe when you sit down at the keyboard. I do not believe in the angsty writer. I don't. If it is torture for you to write, please find something else. Please find something that makes your heart happy to do. Okay, so that brings us to question 2, and I have like 4 minutes, but this is really important. Okay, so this is from Wendy in Oklahoma. She says, just the thought of doing NaNoWriMo makes me break out into cold sweats. Help. Okay, this is important to me. So if you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you know that just recently, I think it was last week, CBS This Morning did this whole Stop the Stigma. And I have been very clear, even before that, that I have atypical depression and anxiety. Now, atypical depression is depression without the sense of melancholy. All the other stuff, all the other symptoms I have, I just don't have that overwhelming feeling of sadness all the time, which I'm very, very thankful for. But for the longest time, my doctor would be like, I really think this is depression. And I'd be like, but I'm not sad. Okay, there are other things. There are other genres of it. So, and this is just one of them. And it took a lot of digging and a lot of talking to my doctors to figure out what this was. Now, my postpartum depression really exasperated my atypical depression and my anxiety. I got help because I knew that something was really, really wrong. And I dealt with postpartum before, so I had an idea and I knew what to do. So I went and got help. So my depression is pretty much under control now, but the anxiety still really gets to me. I think that's part of the reason I get nervous before I do these, even though I've been doing it for 2 months now. Okay, it's human, it's normal to get nervous. Okay, there is a step above that. So my nervousness gets above that. Sometimes it gets to the point where I get so overwhelmed that I completely and totally shut down. And as you know, if a task is overwhelming you and you shut down and you just don't do it, let's say clean the house, then it's only going to get worse. The same thing is with writing. If you get so overwhelmed by it that you can't do it, then it's not going to get easier. It's not going to get better. It's not going to type itself. So here are some tips that I have learned through my recovery, for lack of a better word, but through my process, through my journey with clinical anxiety. And even though you might not have clinical anxiety, these tips would help anybody, honestly. So that's why I wanted to go through them. And they especially help when you're dealing with a deadline or what you feel is an overwhelming task or goal. Number 1, breathe. That is the most important one. And I know it sounds silly because we breathe all the time. But if you've ever noticed when you're fixing to start something that is kind of an overwhelming task, then you do get kind of nervous about it. You get kind of jittery about it. Your heart rate increases. Just breathe. Every time I sit down at the computer, I take 10 super deep breaths. I close my eyes. I try to visualize what I'm about to do, which brings me to the next thing. And not only does a deep breath like help you find your center, it also gives you energy because you're filling your body full of that lovely, lovely oxygen. Okay, so which brings us to the next one. Write a to-do list, okay? So when I have an overwhelming task, I need to break it down into doable, smaller tasks. And I know that sounds really simple when you're talking about something like clean the house, because first you have to pick up and then wipe off cabinets and stuff like that. It can also be done with writing, okay? First thing you need to do, open up that Word document. And I'm serious, write down that to-do list. Make it small, simple tasks so that your brain does not get overwhelmed with what you're about to undergo, what you're about to take on, okay? 50,000 words is a lot, but you can do it. Okay, so look at that first task. Open Word document. Okay, I got it. Write title. Okay, I got it. Don't have a title? That's all right. I'm going to write untitled right now. Opening scene. Write 250 words. Good, you got that. Now write 250 more. All right, connect this plot point to this plot point. Okay, next. And that's where that outline will really, really come in handy, especially if you're a nervous writer. Those outlines, I'm telling you, they are lifesavers. Lifesavers. I never finished a book until I wrote an outline. I'm telling you that right now. I will scream outline until the day I die. That'll probably be my last words. Did you outline? Yeah. So, anywho. You know, if I'm not silly, then what makes me different than everybody else telling you information on the internet? That and I'm a French model. Okay, so break it down, breathe, look at that to-do list, take it one step at a time. Ask yourself what's the worst thing that can happen. Now, some situations this is going to be a little bit different, but especially in the writing sense, what's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, I don't get 50,000 words. I fail miserably. Okay, again, NaNoWriMo is not going to tell anybody that you didn't make it. You might not get the handy dandy badge, but who cares? It's just a badge. It's a picture on the internet. That is all that it is. Worst case scenario, you don't write 50,000 words, but look how much further you've gotten during this time. You set your mind to making this goal. You might have fallen a little short, but look how far you came. Did you do better than last month? Did you do better than the month before? Have you written the most words ever than you ever have this month? All good things. So look at it with a positive spin. So think of the worst case scenario. What's the worst thing that can happen? You don't make it. Okay? So rationalize why. That's okay. Rationalize why that's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen because you've made a plan, because you've listened to your friend Jennifer and she's told you how to make this successful. Okay? Our jobs as writers is to think of worst case scenarios. Okay, it is to put our characters through the worst times of their lives, but it's also our jobs to think of a resolution. So think about it that way. What's the worst thing that could happen? Okay, so how do I fix that? All doable, all very doable. Now, there are other situations where that is going to be, you can think of the worst case scenario and it's super, super overwhelming, but we're talking about writing here. We're talking about writing. And most of the time, it works in most incidences, okay? So think of the worst case scenario. Rationalize why that most likely will not happen. Think of the next one. Why won't that happen? Okay, you have a plan. You can do this, okay? And finally, if all else fails, call a trusted friend. Call somebody in your writing community. I'm very, very blessed to have not only a mom I can talk to about just about anything, and a sister I can talk to just about anything, and a best friend who is there for me night and day, and a critique group who we are not only excellent critique partners, but we're also really good friends. We're safe sisters for each other, and a million other people. And if you don't do anything else, join a writing group, because a good writing group, people who will support you, because there's going to be times when you're like, look, I just need to talk this out, and they will understand better than anybody else what you're going through. And I'm very, very fortunate to have those people. So if you're really freaking out about a project or getting the 50,000 words, or even publishing once you've done all the editing, talk to those people. Let them help you rationalize why it's okay. It's okay, and you're going to do great. Worst case scenario, you don't sell any books. Best case scenario, you've written something that you love. Okay? So talk to somebody. If you're feeling super anxious, if you know this is more than just writing jitters, if you're feeling depressed or sad, if you're having thoughts that scare you, please get help. Please. Suicide is on the rise in this country, and it makes me sad. And I think a little bit of it, probably a lot of it is social media. please remember when you're looking at social media, you're looking at the best parts of those people's day, most likely. They're not gonna snap pictures of, you know, your baby who's teething having a cow because you took the bottle away to refill it. They're going to show you pictures of that baby trying to eat the pumpkin because he's teething. That's exactly what I did. I didn't take a picture of the fit he threw when we took the pumpkin away from him. So just remember, you're looking at the best parts of people's day. They're not posting their lows most likely. Some do, and because they're looking for that, they're looking for prayers and that uplift and that hug. So if you feel like this is more than just normal anxiety or normal melancholy, talk to your doctor. Okay? Talk to somebody. It is okay not to be okay. It is okay not to be okay when everything else looks perfect. I know that I have a very blessed life. I have a supportive husband. I have 2 awesome kids. When we were told we weren't going to be able to have kids, well, hello. Got 2 of those. I have such a great support system with my extended family and my friends and you all. But yet I still have depression and I still get very, very anxious about things. And even though I've had a really great career, I still get very nervous to the point of just almost throwing up every time I release a book. But I sought help because I knew I was like, okay, this is extreme and I need help with this. And let me tell you, there are so many medications out there. There are so many different paths you can take. There are so many different kinds of therapies. There is something out there that will work for you. If you don't want to take medicine, okay, then find a different kind of therapy that will help you. My point is, don't let it go. Seek help because it's okay. I'm telling you, it's okay. You're not alone. You're not alone. Okay, so moving on. We are so out of time here. So if you need a NaNoWriMo buddy, then please see me at, or buddy me at Deep Blue JC #1. And I will write that in the comments. Again, I'm not seeing anybody's comments, so if you've asked me a follow-up question, I will answer it in the comments because I don't see anything. I'm not seeing any likes or anything else like that, or any laughings or laughings. Is that a word? It is now. Laughings. Okay. So anywho, get your support system, sit your butt down, have fun with it. Remember, it is not about that little badge. It is about getting into these great writing habits. If you want some more really great references that are quick reads that you could definitely get done before the first, again, this 5,000 words per hour, nobody's writing that, okay? He's not even writing that. But there are some really great tips in here on how to get that, how to create your space, how to track your word count, how to get up to that word count in writing sprints, okay? Super thin, super easy read. And I just started this one. It was recommended by my friend John Darzat. And I was like, I'm buying it. And I bought it. And so I just started it, but I'm already loving it. So I also recommend this one, 2,000 to 10,000. I don't know if she's gotten to 10,000 words yet because I haven't read that far, but that's by Rachel Ahrens. This one is by Chris Fox. I love his entire Write Faster, Write Smarter series. I'm thinking I'm going to love hers as well. She's like, write faster, write better. So they're both trying to tell you the same thing. But I just love it when I can get a super thin book that tells me what I need to know and I don't have to read a bunch of crap in between. I don't need to know your life story. I want to know how to fix this. I want to know how to write faster and better. Woohoo! So, okay. I hope you guys have a super wonderful and safe Halloween. I was going to show you my black cat. Can I show you my black cat real fast? This is my black cat. This is my Ellie cat. So yesterday was Black Cat Day. Can you say hi, Ellie? So please be nice to your pets. Be nice to these black kitty cats. Okay, she is definitely my familiar. She would protect me from anything. She's probably about to protect herself from me, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, so be nice to black cats, please. Don't do anything bad to them this Halloween. Have a safe Halloween. Have a wonderful start to NaNoWriMo on Friday. If you have any questions for me, please PM me here on Facebook at Jennifer McMurrain or email me at jennifermcmurrain@gmail.com. And just, you know what? Thanks for writing. Thanks for watching and happy writing. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.